Strange glowing gates appear out of nowhere across the globe from snowy peaks to busy streets, leaving the world in awe. News reports panic over the phenomena, while unaware movers finish their shift right under a looming gate in the sky. Eugene wipes his sweat and proudly shows off his brother's photo, boasting about sacrificing his own education for him. While Eugene praises his sweet brother, the scene cuts to Yuhyun standing alone in the twilight, foreshadowing trouble. In the truck, colleagues joke that business is booming because people are fleeing the strange lights, making Eugene uneasy. Suddenly, the floating light shifts color and crashes right next to them. The truck shakes violently, leaving everyone in shock. The driver turns around in horror. A massive black dragon tears through the cargo hold, jaws wide open and drooling. Chaos erupts on the streets as cars crash and swarms of flying dragons pour out from the portals above. It's a massacre. Monsters flood out from uncleared dungeons. This catastrophic dungeon shock turns the city into a living hell. Adrenaline kicks in. A man in a red vest grabs a pipe and brutally tears a monster's jaw apart with his bare hands. Humans awaken powers to fight back, becoming hunters. Meanwhile, Eugene's little brother is caught in the inferno. Amidst the ruins, Yuhyun stands engulfed in ominous black-purple flames, radiating a terrifying new power. The sweet brother is gone. In his place stands a newly awakened, world-class S-rank hunter. Their fates diverge here. 8 years later. The world runs like a game now. Status windows pop up, and skills can summon forests from concrete. Yumi went from living in moldy ruins to becoming a hunter. Her plant skill gave her a second chance at life. Mana stones mean big money. S-rank Han Yuhyun rose from an orphan to a guild leader, bathed in fame and fortune. But reality is brutal. The hopeful girl from the interview is already dead. Hunting is a gamble with life itself. Back to Eugene. He joins a raid party as an F rank, only to be met with disgust. They see him as dead weight. The insults are vicious. They call him a parasite and mock him for being abandoned by his own famous brother. Mentioning his brother crosses the line. Eugene snaps and kicks the bully, only to get pinned down instantly. Eugene gets beaten to a pulp by a bully mocking his brother before the raid even starts. Luckily, an older mentor steps in with a healing spell to patch him up. The mentor tells him to suck it up, but offers a hand. Eugene forces a grin and thanks him profusely, his desperate gratitude making the older hunter take a liking to him. Turns out the mentor is an outcast too, called a leech by the team. Eugene secretly activates his custodian skill on him as they step into the glowing portal. Inside the vine-covered ruins, purple monsters ambush them immediately. The team clashes with the beasts, shields up and magic blazing. The team wipes out the mobs easily, celebrating the loot and easy money. Meanwhile, Eugene, the Frankie, is stuck in the corner mining rocks. Eugene digs for scraps, mocking himself as a Cinderella. His mind drifts to the painful memory of his brother, who abandoned him the moment he awakened. While his brother built the mighty Hand Guild, Eugene was left in the dust. Desperate to catch up, he spent his life savings on a shady broker to force an awakening. It was a scam. He ended up with massive debt and a useless F rank. The media tore him apart, labeling him a parasite dragging down his famous brother. His brother finally snapped, telling him to stop being a burden and stay out of sight. That cold rejection shattered their relationship completely. Back in the dungeon, despite the ridicule, a question remains. How has a weak F ranker like him managed to survive in these deadly dungeons for so long? The secret lies in his custodian skill. By simply saying hang in there, he registers people as his charges, giving them a minor buff. But a small buff doesn't save lives. The real reason he survives every total party wipe is a hidden, darker skill attached to his title. It's called Final Thanks. Once triggered, he inherits all his charges' stats and skills at double the effectiveness. Ideally powerful, but the cost is brutal. The skill only activates when his charge dies. Just like that, the mentor is dead. Standing amidst the carnage, tears in his eyes, Eugene feels the power surge. This is the price of his survival. Absolute despair descends. This isn't a D-rank dungeon. It's the lair of Rochitas, a tier 1 poison dragon. An unwinnable nightmare. With his team wiped out, Eugene stands alone on the bloody battlefield, staring down the colossal beast. The dragon spits venom, forcing Eugene to dive behind a rock. He's trembling. How did a boss this strong end up here? No time to think. He activates the dead mentor's leg fortify skill. With double the speed, he sprints desperately, looking for any way out. The dragon is relentless, its massive claws tearing through the air. Eugene grits his teeth and braces for impact. It's do or die. Helpless, Eugene is swatted away like a fly, weapon lost, body smashing into the ground. He's completely outmatched by the dragon. No time to breathe. Another slash tears through the air. Eugene drags his crippled leg desperately, staring death right in the face. Jaws wide open, terror strikes. I don't want to die! Eugene screams, triggering a massive explosion in a final, desperate bid for survival. Flashback to the chaos. Facing a three-headed nightmare, Yun steps up. The S-rank brother roars, shielding Eugene from the beast. Power unleashed. Blue energy coils around Yun as he activates his skill, launching himself into the air like a streak of living lightning. Midair, eyes cold as steel, Yun swings his blade, carving a path of violet destruction through the darkness with blinding speed. Boom! The blade slams down, triggering a massive violet explosion that shakes the very foundations of the cavern. Pure destruction. Eugene watches in awe. He's so fast! The monster shrieks in agony, spewing green blood as Yun dominates the battlefield. Deadly poison sprays out. Without hesitation, Yun throws himself in front, taking the uncurable hit with his shield to protect his brother. Even wounded, Yun fights on. But Eugene notices the sluggish movements. The poison is taking its toll on the S-rank hunter. The truth hits hard. Yun is here for him. Guilt floods Eugene as he remembers his harsh words, screaming at his brother for interfering. Past cruelty echoes. He remembers pushing Yun away, telling him to back off. Now, the weight of those regretful words crushes him. Their broken bond manifests like a nightmare. The emotional scars cut deeper than any blade, turning their relationship into a battlefield. Back in hell, Eugene gives up. He drops his weapon, pleading to die alone rather than burden his brother any longer. Total despair. Tears streaming, he screams for Yun to leave. The F-rank failure, rejected by everyone, just wants to end his miserable life right here. A massive blast interrupts his death wish. Hot blood splatters on the ground. Eugene looks up, eyes widening in absolute horror. Amidst the flames, his invincible brother collapses. How did their bond shatter so badly, only to end in this tragic, bloody mess? Flashback to the funeral. Two young boys, holding hands tightly against a cruel world. They swore to protect each other back then. The memory shatters. Reality crashes back in the dungeon, the monsters roar, and his brother dying in his arms. The nightmare is real. Dying, Yun doesn't blame him, he saves him. Wait for it to sleep, then run. Eugene's heart breaks. His brother loved him all along. Barely clinging to life, Yun forces a gate stone into his brother's hand, urging him to run. Eugene refuses, desperate to treat his dying brother instead. But Yun is past saving. With a faint smile, he whispers he won't need the stone, and his hand drops limp as he dies in his brother's arms. Suddenly, a system window pops up. Yun's sacrifice activates a hidden skill, Final Thanks, transferring all the S-Class brother stats and abilities to Eugene. The system announces double effectiveness. A massive surge of energy explodes within him, just as the giant red dragon roars behind them. The nightmare isn't over. Monsters attack relentlessly. Though knocked back, Eugene is shielded by his brother's blue energy. He holds his ground in the ruins, his gaze hardening. He can almost feel his brother's last embrace. As the S-Class power fully integrates, his overwhelming grief ignites into a purple flame of vengeance. Facing the dragon that killed his brother, Eugene grips his weapon, his stare turning ice cold. If the beast wants to die, he'll gladly oblige. The dragon roars, but to Eugene, it's moving in slow motion. Possessing double the S-Class power, he is now even stronger than his brother ever was. As he smashes the dragon down, Yun's memories flood his mind. He realizes his brother pushed him away only to protect his weak, F-Class older brother. In the memories, Yun acted cold to keep his brother safe. Eugene fights through tears, every strike fueled by agonizing regret for misunderstanding him. Seeing a memory of Yun raging over his injury breaks him. Eugene unleashes all his fury on the monsters, slaughtering them without mercy. Even kicking him out of the guild was for his protection. Eugene drops to his knees, sobbing uncontrollably, whispering apologies to a brother who can no longer hear him. In the rain, he stands atop the dragon's corpse, surrounded by silence. He won, but it's hollow. The brother who silently protected him is gone forever. As the buffs fade and his body breaks down, he's ready to die. But the system mocks him with a pop-up, impossible achievement unlocked, Dragon Slayer. The rewards include a wish stone. He frantically begs to revive his brother, only to be crushed by the system's cold reply, cannot revive the dead. It's useless. If he can't revive him, he'll rewrite history. Eugene grits his teeth in the rain and makes his wish. Send me back in time, to before my brother died. Wish granted. A blinding light swallows the world. Whatever the cost, he will reverse this cursed fate. Eugene gasps, waking up in a cold sweat. The rain is gone, he's alive, and he finds himself sitting on a sofa in a bright, quiet room. He checks his phone, it's actually 5 years ago. He realizes this is the day he got scammed and dragged back to his brother's guild. Familiar footsteps approach, and the lock turns. The younger version of his brother walks in. Seeing his face, Eugene's body trembles instinctively. A nightmare crashes in. A dark figure screams in rage, lunging at Eugene with killing intent. Panic floods Eugene's eyes as the attack lands. Reality hits hard. Eugene crushes his brother in a desperate embrace. Eugene comforts him, realizing the heavy burden this 20-year-old has been carrying alone. Seeing his brother on the verge of tears, Eugene gently rests a hand on his shoulder. The barrier between them shatters, restoring their bond. The moment Eugene whispers "I love you," system notifications explode. Eugene awakens, unlocking a legendary skill that doubles his brother's growth rate. Staring at the double growth under custody description, Eugene freezes. His mind goes blank, screaming, "Say what?" Life goes on. Eugene cooks while his brother sits stiffly at the table. It's awkward in the previous timeline. This was the day of their massive blowout. Despite the awkwardness, the piece is nice. Eugene checks his status window and spots a menacing new red badge, Dragon Slayer. It's a legendary title, surpassing S rank. The system carried over his achievement of killing the poison dragon, unlocking 4 insane skills. Poison, curse, and fear immunity, all legendary. Eugene clenches his fist, heart racing. Is he finally the overpowered protagonist? Memories resurface. Facing the dragon's toxic fire, his weak F-rank self didn't hesitate to sacrifice himself to save a teammate. Fantasy crashes into reality. Just as he imagines being a superhero, his single-digit stats slap him in the face. He's still a weak F-ranker. Eugene despairs. What good is a legendary title on a weak body? The only glimmer of hope is his perfect custodian title, now upgraded to L rank. He inspects the skill, shouting a keyword doubles a target's growth rate for 3 days. It's the ultimate evolution of his support ability. The SS rank skill is crazier. Public praise boosts stats based on crowd size. Eugene's eyes light up. This is a cheat code to make his brother the strongest. He fantasizes about global dominance, until he sees the activation keyword "I love you." His dreams crash into a wall of pure cringe. This skill is a curse. He imagines saying "I love you" to burly hunters. He'd probably get arrested for harassment before buffing anyone. An S-rank skill reveals hidden potential perfect for scouting. His thoughts break as his brother shyly serves a huge bowl of rice, claiming it's nothing special. It tastes great, but his brother explains he cooks for safety. Before antidotes were common, he had to constantly guard against poison in his food. Eugene's heart breaks. He grabs his brother's face, demanding to know why he suffered in silence all this time. Eugene confesses. He feigned coldness and pushed Eugene away solely to keep enemies from targeting his weak brother. The distance was protection all along. A wave of warmth washes over the table. Eugene holds his brother's hand, guilt mixing with relief. Eugene stares back, eyes shimmering with tears, moved by this sudden affection. Seeing this, Eugene smiles, turning back time to save this bond was the best decision he ever made. But the cozy atmosphere vanishes instantly. As Eugene prepares to leave, he coldly orders Eugene to delete his old manager's number, promising to clean everything up. Eugene freezes, sensing a dangerous undertone in his brother's words. This isn't just about a phone number. Eugene tries to step out, but a hand slams against the doorframe. Eugene stands there with a chilling smile, declaring that Eugene isn't going anywhere. He's to stay right by his side. Eugene stands paralyzed, realizing this isn't just protection, it's confinement. What? Eugene screams in disbelief. Eugene remains disturbingly calm, explaining his twisted logic. He pushed Eugene away to keep him safe, but now that they're close again, Eugene is a target. The outside world is simply too dangerous. Eugene spreads his arms with a welcoming smile, solidifying the cage he's built. Realizing his brother is dead serious, cold sweat drips down Eugene's face. He panics, screams I'm outta here, and bolts for the door. Before he can escape, movers arrive. Yuhyun has already emptied Eugen's old apartment. Eugene is furious, but Yuhyun calmly plays the guilt card. You said you loved me, didn't you? It's a masterclass in emotional blackmail. Defeated, Eugene collapses amidst the moving boxes. He starts suspecting this possessiveness is a side effect of the time reset. But he can't stay here. He decides to grab the essentials and make a run for it before his brother returns. He packs a bag and sneaks to the door, only to run into a human wall. Sunghyun Kim, the guild's A-rank tank. The man radiates pure intimidation. Eugene gulps, trembling as he meekly asks to pass, hoping against hope. Sunghyun isn't budging. Orders are orders. When Eugene tries to argue, the A-rank hunter loses patience. He grips Eugene's shoulder, his eyes glowing with terrifying pressure, and growls a final warning. Get back inside. The sheer pressure makes Eugene tremble like prey before a predator. Suddenly, a system alert pings. Fear resistance activated. The shaking stops instantly. His eyes sharpen. He's regained control and is ready to fight back. Fear gone, Eugene gets cocky, lecturing the giant man about constitutional rights. Unimpressed, Sunghyun grabs him by the collar and dangles him in the air like a ragdoll, asking if he prefers a jail cell or his bedroom. Dangled in the air, Eugene desperately activates his skill and grabs Sunghyun's face. Flash. The system window pops up shockingly. This A-rank hunter has the hidden potential to become an S-ranker. He's sitting on a goldmine. Eugene excitedly needs Sunghyun's face, mind racing. If he helps Sunghyun awaken to S-rank, he can use that leverage to bargain for his freedom. But there's a catch. The system requires a specific keyword to start the nurturing process. With no other choice, Eugene screams, I love you, and awkwardly makes finger hearts. Sunghyun looks absolutely horrified. Disgusted to his core, he shoves Eugene back into the room and slams the door. That was disturbing beyond words. Eugene writhes on the floor, cursing the humiliating keyword. When Yuhyun returns to find him sulking, he offers a crumb of hope. I'll let you go eventually. Eugene instantly perks up. Wait, really? When? Yuhyun promises freedom in a year, talking about taking Eugene out for walks like a pet. While listening to this condescending offer, Eugene's mind races. If Yuhyun thinks current bodyguards are too weak, Eugene just needs to create a stronger one himself. Back at his computer, Eugene's eyes gleam. He has the ultimate cheat code, memories of the future. He knows exactly who will become S-rankers. If he recruits them now, he can build a squad so powerful that even his brother won't be able to control him. The plan is set. Not just an A-ranker, he's aiming for a hidden S-class gem. Staring out at the city lights, Eugene smiles. The hunt is on. The scene shifts to an alleyway. A figure stands there holding a grocery basket, looking ordinary. But Eugene knows better. He's going to sweet-talk this unsuspecting stranger into becoming his ultimate weapon. Eugene strikes a deal with his brother. If I find a top-tier bodyguard for myself, let me go outside. Yuhyun is skeptical. How could an F-ranker find one? Eugene smirks, ready to reveal that he has a special eye for talent. Eugene drops a hint about seeing potentials, and the guy freaks out, thinking he's dealing with a psychic. Deal secured? Eugene gets the guy to help him move, planning to use his new connections to gear up. Eugene dreams of building an elite army, but at the registry, the crowd only has eyes for his bodyguard, Sunghyun Kim. The crowd boos when his F-rank status drops, but Eugene doesn't care. He's got a check for billions and is ready to spend. Ignoring the flashy jewelry, Eugene buys practical gear, literally paying his way to C-rank stats. While Sunghyun complains, Eugene ignores him, locking onto his next target, the future S-rank ice witch, Yerim Park. Scouring the night market yields nothing, and Eugene gets distracted by the mouth-watering smell of street food. Just as he grabs a bite, a purple-haired girl storms out of a shop, screaming her lungs out at the staff. She slams into him and keeps running. Eugene activates his speed gear time to chase her down. It's a high-speed chase through the market. Bystanders gawk as Eugene uses his pay-to-win gear to keep up with the prodigy. Cornered, the girl almost runs into traffic, but pulls off a superhuman leap to dodge a collision at the last second. She lands hard, causing a chaotic pileup. The poor guy she was running from gets caught in the crash. Dust settles, and they're tangled on the ground in a very awkward position as the crowd starts to whisper. Cut to the restaurant. Eugene treats her to premium barbecue, breaking the ice by trash-talking her uncle's cheap meat. Eugene plays the emotional card, lying about knowing her parents. It works. Yerim's tough act starts to crack. Striking while the iron is hot, Eugene offers to sponsor her awakening, dropping the massive hand guild name. To prove he's legit, Eugene flashes his magical inventory interface, leaving the teenager wide-eyed with wonder. He lays out the contract, 1 year as his bodyguard. He admits he's weak and needs protection, winning points for honesty. Just as she's about to sign, Eugene stops her, revealing the ugly truth. As a minor, her legal guardian could steal all her earnings. Right on cue, the abusive uncle storms in, screaming and grabbing at Yerem. The situation instantly explodes into violence. The toxic uncle explodes, accusing Eugene of sleeping with his niece and grabbing him violently. Yerem scoffs from the side, mocking that the old man is nothing but a total weakling. Eugene catches on and fuels the fire, saying she's better off without this guardian. Yerem unloads her trauma, screaming about stolen inheritance and plastic bag umbrellas, turning the crowd against her abuser. Enraged, the uncle lunges and shoves hard. Yerem screams in horror, but while Eugene looks terrified, the uncle stands there baffled, as if he's the one who just got played. Eugene commits to the bit, tumbling dramatically across the floor. Yerem tears up in panic, while the uncle stands frozen in shock. The murmuring crowd is now fully convinced Eugene is the victim. Eugene plays the innocent victim to perfection, wailing that he was just trying to protect the girl. The oblivious uncle keeps screaming accusations, digging his own grave in front of everyone. The act drops. Eugene smirks, trips the big guy, and watches him faceplant into a mess of spilled soda and food. He leans in close, whispering a cold warning about ripping off his own niece. Just as Eugene is about to teach this scum a lesson, a deafening explosion rocks the building. It's not an earthquake, chaos erupts in the night market outside. Something much worse is coming. The ground splits open, and a grotesque, multi-eyed monster bursts forth. Screams tear through the air as the crowd scatters like ants. A dungeon break has turned the street into a living hell. Sahun Kim steps up, activating his shield to buy time for the civilians. He tries to tank the massive beast alone, but gets swatted away instantly by its terrifying power. Amidst the rubble, Sahun screams for everyone to run. Eugene freezes. This disaster wasn't in his memories of the past life. Cold sweat drips down his face. History is changing. Despite the odds, Sahun grits his teeth and charges. He becomes a blur in the night, landing a massive punch against the monster's tail, lighting up the block with the impact. But the monster is too strong. Its tail whips around, swatting Sahun like a fly. He slams into the wall, burying him in rubble as terrified civilians scream in pure despair. The hit was devastating, leaving Sahun gasping in the wreckage. Yet he refuses to stay down, forcing his broken body up and flaring his energy for one more round. Eugene grabs the frozen Yerem and drags her toward the shelter. Forget ranks, his only instinct now is to get this future S-Class to safety before she gets killed. After shoving Yerem toward safety, Eugene stops. He recognizes the monster. It's a colony type. A pure tank like Sahun can't handle this alone. He has to go back. Yerem grabs his arm, begging him to awaken her powers so she can fight. Eugene refuses instantly. S-Class potential or not, she hasn't signed the contract, and more importantly, she's still just a kid. Eugene turns and sprints back into the fray. He might be an F rank, but he's survived 5 years of hell. He knows exactly what to do. Yerem stands alone, watching his back with gritty determination. Sahun screams at him to leave, terrified for the weakling's life. But Eugene just smiles amidst the heat and debris, tapping his temple. He knows exactly how to take this monster down. The massive shadow engulfs the roof as the monster looms overhead. While Sahun yells for defense, Eugene stands his ground, fearlessly stepping up as the tactical commander. Suit Guy wastes no time. Golden magic circles flare up and blast the multi-eyed monster right in the face. While the monster reels from the impact, Eugene sees his chance. Green light glows beneath his feet. Okay, my turn. He casts a barrier to trap the beast like a cage, clutching the deadly poison pods he bought earlier. He's ready to gas it. But he freezes. The cage is empty. The monster vanished into thin air, leaving only strange slime behind. Suddenly, the ground swallows him up into a sewer. He lands hard and looks up to find a purple-haired girl holding an axe. Tentacles lash out. While dodging death, they scream at each other. He calls her a civilian. She mocks him for being an F rank. They sprint through the ruins. The girl's eyes burn with determination. She's tired of being protected. She wants power. Flashbacks of helplessness flood her mind. She grits her teeth, swearing to become strong enough to control her own fate. You said I had potential? Desperate, they clasp hands, and a massive surge of blue energy erupts between them. Ice magic explodes uncontrollably. Bystanders watch in shock as Eugene barely holds onto the girl amidst the freezing chaos. System alert, S-rank awakened. She cheers wildly, but before Eugene can hush her, the monster's tentacles return. The ambush is too fast. The confident S-rank facade crumbles instantly, and she screams for her mom like a terrified child. But she adapts insanely fast. Grabbing a staff, she spins around and blasts a massive ice beam straight at the monster. The monster strikes back, but her boots glow. Flight skill? She grabs Eugene and shoots into the sky. They crash land in a heap. She scratches her head and apologizes. Controlling this power is harder than it looks. Watching her grin, Eugene struggles to connect this cheerful kid with the cold ice which she becomes in the future. Need to finish it? Brother Yuhyun steps in. Leave it to me. He raises a hand, unleashing a devastating wave of fire. Inferno! In just one move, the battlefield is incinerated. The girl's eyes widen, terrified by the sheer destructive power of a real S-rank. Standing amidst the flames, Yuhyun looks cold as ice. The girl shrinks back, realizing the massive gap in their power. The ruins burn in silence. The battle is over. That's the terrifying efficiency of an S-class hunter. Yuhyun arrives, horrified by his brother's injuries. He rushes in, screaming about locking Eugene up for his own safety, grabbing him in a panic. Before Yuhyun can explode, Eugene introduces Yerim to distract him. Then he drops the bomb. He plans to become her legal guardian. Everyone's shocked. Why be a guardian instead of a sponsor? But Eugene knows it's the only way to save her from her abusive uncle. Yuhyun explodes, absolutely forbidding it. He's terrified that an unstable S-class teenager could easily crush his F-class brother. Sparks fly as the two S-rankers clash. Yuhyun powers up, but Yerim realizes she almost hurt Eugene in the crossfire and frantically stops. Eugene scolds his brother for the outburst and orders the guildmaster to go do his job. Yuhyun sulks but obediently leaves the scene. With the angry brother gone, Eugene switches to caretaker mode. Noticing Yerim's worn-out shoes, he gently helps her put them on, promising to buy new ones. Just as the mood turns sweet, a bug flies by. Yerim whips her hair to swat it but accidentally smacks Eugene so hard he coughs up blood. Jokes aside, Eugene opens up while bandaging her hand. His sincerity touches Yerim, and she finally accepts this weak but caring guardian. To activate his skill, Eugene forces himself to say the cringeworthy keyword, "I love you." Yerim screams in embarrassment, but the pact is sealed. Suddenly, the awful uncle appears. Feigning concern, he immediately asks if Yerim has awakened, his eyes gleaming with greed. The sleazy man sees nothing but a cash cow. The two teenagers watch his performance coldly, ready to strike back. Eugene steps in, announcing Yerim is moving out. Realizing his golden goose is fleeing, the uncle loses his temper and grabs his phone. The scumbag tries to threaten him with a video? Eugene isn't having it. He smashes the phone and grabs the man by the collar. Seeing Eugene fight, Yerim steps in. She drives her ice sword into the ground, unleashing a terrifying burst of energy that paralyzes her uncle with fear. With an innocent smile, Yerim gaslights him. "You just tripped, right, uncle?" She crushes the ice in her hand, her silent threat far scarier than violence. To her uncle, Yerim looks like a predator ready to feast. Eugene barely withstands her aura thanks to his system. S-rank pressure is no joke. She crushes the umbrella like an insect, coldly warning him. The only reason he's still alive is that he's not worth dirtying her hands. Stay away from him. With that final, commanding warning, Yerim walks away, severing ties with her nightmare of a past. Having settled the new kid, he still has to deal with his brother. Just as Eugene relaxes, a sharp pain hits him, and Yuhyun bursts into the room. Waking up to chaos, his brother storms in demanding the stuff. Eugene panics, thinking he's busted for overspending at the mall. Huge misunderstanding. Yuhyun thought the poison was for suicide. He pulls Eugene into a desperate, crushing hug. Clearing the air, they switch to business. Thanks to the guild, Yerim's abusive uncle has been dealt with permanently. Yerim's been grinding all night to master her power. Yuhyun confidently assures him the room is built to withstand S-rank attacks. Famous last words. They stare in stunned silence at the obliterated wall. So much for S-rank proof. Inside, Yerim is a force of nature. She dives through the ice, unleashing sheer, unreasonable destruction. She lands, slashes, and shatters the ice in a fluid combo. This isn't a rookie, it's the birth of an ice queen. The power spillover is intense. Eugene gets caught in the blast zone, paralyzed by the residual dark energy. Energy spirals out of control. As Yerim unleashes her ultimate, Eugene can only brace himself against the S-rank shockwave. She sticks the landing with a smirk. Bazinga! She's clearly pleased with her masterpiece of destruction. The dust settles on the ruins. Eugene frantically calls out to snap her out of her battle trance before she wrecks the building. She snaps back to reality, but doesn't recognize the mate over Eugene. From killer queen to confused teen in a split second. Time for the debut look. Yerim shows off her new gear and the sandals of Hermes. She's ready for the spotlight. She explains her kit, freezing attacks, and a creepy skill that drains info from corpses. Powerful, but definitely unsettling. Eugene coaches her on hiding her true strength, but possessive Yuyun interrupts, jealous of their closeness. Showtime. Cameras flash as the new S-rank hunter makes her grand entrance, instantly captivating the media. Watching from the shadows, Eugene feels a bittersweet pang. The abused girl is gone. A superstar is born, leaving him behind. But there's no time for self-pity. He shakes it off. He has a second chance, and it's time to find the next hidden gem. Relying on his past life's memory, he spots a desolate figure in the crowd. To change the future, he must secure this asset. Gotcha. He grabs the confused stranger. The system interface lights up as S-rank potential found. Jackpot. Eugene bumps into a random guy, but the system flags him a hidden SS rank. Eugene instantly switches on his acting skills. Long time no see, buddy. Myungwoo is totally confused. I don't remember you. But Eugene is staring at the status window. Master of the Golden Smithy. Jackpot. That skill is a literal money printer. Eugene looks at the slumped, exhausted guy in front of him who knew this walking disaster was a gold mine. Myungwoo just wants the F-rank government handout. Eugene grabs his hand tight. No way he's letting this goose get away. Forget that. Come train at my guild. But the bodyguard blocks them at the door. Rules are rules. Eugene plays his trump card. The guild master is my little brother. Myungwoo's jaw hits the floor. Myungwoo looks at Eugene like he's a god. Eugene looks him in the eye. I'm helping you because you're worth it. That hits deep. That one compliment breaks the dam. Myungwoo bursts into tears and collapses. Later, they cool down with some cheap vending machine coffee. Under the sunset, Myungwoo opens up. He used to be a gifted crafter, but society forced him to study, which he failed at miserably. Now he's drowning in debt and calls himself a loser. Eugene listens quietly. He knows exactly how cold the world is to F ranks. The world only cares about combat power. If you're weak, you're trash. Eugene clenches his fist this time. He's going to flip the script. Eugene suddenly goes full motivational speaker. Head up high. I love myself. It's cheesy as hell, but it actually works on Myungwoo. Pumped up, they go to see the HR director. But reality hits hard. Director Suk shuts them down cold. Free training? Absolutely not. The director is brutal. He calls Myungwoo useless trash and mocks Eugene's eye for talent as nothing but dumb luck. The arrogance is suffocating. The humiliation is too much. Myungwoo panics, blaming himself for dragging Eugene down, and sprints away. Eugene is left fuming at the director. Eugene catches up, but Myungwoo puts on a brave face. I found a job. They're picking me up. An ominous black van screeches to a halt next to them. The door slides open. It's not an employer, it's the loan sharks. Hey buddy, time to work off that debt. So much for an honest job. Myungwoo breaks out in a cold sweat. He realizes he's just been cornered by the mafia. He wants to run, but they've already surrounded him. He tries to offer his tiny subsidy cash. The thug snatches it and laughs in his face. That's it. Eugene steps in. Then Eugene does something crazy. Instead of fighting, he hops into the van. If you're taking him, I'm coming too. The door slams shut. The thugs are confused but delighted. 2 F ranks? Perfect disposable labor for illegal mining. Eugene sits back, silently plotting their demise. The scammers pitch a death trap as a dream job, and the newbie buys it completely. Eugene watches in silence, knowing exactly how this ends: exploitation and death for F ranks. Looking at Myungwoo, Eugene feels a pang of regret. In the past life, this man died unknown. This time, Eugene vows to protect his potential from these vultures. They arrive at the Shady Hope office. The moment they step inside, the facade drops. A thug blindsides the newbie with a brutal punch to the face. Chaos erupts. Eugene looks up to see Myungwoo being stomped on the floor, screaming in pain. This isn't an office, it's a torture chamber. Myungwoo sobs, apologizing for dragging his friend into this mess. The thugs don't care. They grab Eugene by the neck, forcing him to sign the slave contract. The boss smirks, revealing the contract is enchanted with a curse for awakeners. Eugene is pinned down, his finger forced onto the ink pad against his will. Eugene plays dumb, asking to compare contracts. The thugs burst into laughter at his naivety and toss him the papers, thinking he's just a clueless victim. Realizing it's a complete slave contract, Eugene's eyes go cold. Without hesitation, he rips the enchanted paper to shreds right in front of the boss. The curse triggers, but is instantly nullified by his skill. Eugene spins and lands a devastating kick, sending a thug flying. The gang freezes. Is this guy really an F rank? Surrounded, Eugene calmly checks his phone. The thugs mock him for calling the cops too late, but he just smirks. He's not calling the police. He's calling a monster. The wall explodes behind him. Sung-han Kim smashes through the concrete like it's paper, arriving with earth-shattering force exactly on cue. An A-rank hunter is no joke. Sung-han Kim bulldozes through the room, dropping thugs with single, bone-crushing punches before they can even scream. Room cleared in seconds. Sung-han Kim stands amidst the wreckage and respectfully announces his arrival to Eugene, leaving the other victim's jaw dropped. Eugene reveals he had an open line the whole time. Sung-han Kim simply tracked the signal, smashing his way through every obstacle to find them. A desperate thug lunges with a knife. The victims scream a warning, but Sung-han barely blinks. The blade strikes him with zero effect. The blade snaps like a twig. Sung-han casually breaks the attacker's arm, scoffing, "You'll need more than that to scratch an A rank." Total control. The thugs are forced to their knees. Sung-han turns to Eugene for orders, and Eugene, holding a stack of files, smiles a very dangerous smile. An eye for an eye. Eugene slaps down a 50-year slave contract with a measly 10% cut. The boss stares at the paper, his face turning pale with horror. Dozens of victim contracts are found. When the scum claims dead F ranks don't matter, Eugene's patience snaps. He delivers a savage kick right to the guy's face. F ranks are human beings too. Fueled by memories of his own past suffering, Eugene glares at them. It's time they tasted their own medicine. The tables turn completely. Eugene grins like a villain, terrifying the scammers into begging for mercy as he presses a hand down on one's head, demanding they pay for their crimes. Justice is served as the scammers are shipped off. In the car, Myungwoo pours out his gratitude, unaware that Eugene is secretly calculating the massive fortune he'll make from him later. Myungwoo breaks down in tears again, clinging to his hero. To secure housing, Eugene pulls a childish stunt, throwing a tantrum on the floor until Director Sook caves and gives them a dorm. It's not just a room, it's a luxury penthouse. While Myungwoo gawps at the opulence, Eugene drops the plan. Since outsiders aren't allowed, Myungwoo will stay as his housekeeper. Myungwoo is so touched, he practically strangles Eugene with a hug. Later that night, Eugene watches him sleep, bewildered as the guy mumbles about cleaning duties even in his dreams. Myungwoo freezes in the hallway, terrified to run into the S-rank brother Yu-yun. He expects a scolding, but the atmosphere shifts when Yu-yun surprisingly asks him for a favor. The scene shifts to a chill bar. The waiter's polite greeting turns into a yelp of terror as the massive, sunglass-wearing Sung-han Kim looms behind him like a mob enforcer. Whispers of gangsters ripple through the room. The waiter nervously serves their food, sweating bullets, desperate to please the intimidating duo and get out of there. The vibe is painfully awkward. Eugene feels out of place in this hip spot, but Sung-han insists it's highly recommended. He stiffly pours Eugene a drink, trying to force a relaxed atmosphere. Turns out, the big guy wants to apologize. Sung-han confesses he thought Eugene was useless trash, but now respects him. The sudden intense sincerity catches Eugene completely off guard. Sung-han lists Eugene's heroic deeds, completely misinterpreting his manipulative moves as selflessness. Eugene panics internally, shouting that the guy has got it all wrong. Seeing a chance to use his skill keyword, Eugene clinks glasses excitedly. But the mood snaps back to tension when Sung-han questions his motives, forcing Eugene to sweatily lie about an undercover investigation. Talk turns to Yu-yun's overprotective nature. Sung-han empathizes deeply, Revealing his own past raised by his grandfather in chaotic times, he understands the desperate need to protect one's only family. Sunghan shares how generous Yu-yeon was during his grandfather's illness. He urges Eugene to forgive his brother's stifling behavior, and Eugene can only nod along, forcing a smile through the guilt trip. Eugene plans to fake drunk confess the keyword, but there's a problem. Despite the pile of empty bottles, he's stone cold sober. His plan to use alcohol as an excuse is falling apart. Realizing his poison-resistant skill is blocking the buzz, Eugene makes a reckless move. He manually disables the skill, and the suppressed alcohol hits his system all at once, like a tidal wave. The effect is instant. Before Sunghan can finish asking if he's okay, Eugene's eyes roll back, and he faceplants onto the table with a loud thud. Out cold. Morning comes with a splitting headache. Eugene wakes up in agony, clutching his throbbing skull, as a helpful hand offers him a wash basin. He has no idea where he is. Eugene jumps out of his skin at Sunghan standing by his bed. He frantically checks his status window, and sees Sunghan is now registered as a kid. The skill worked, but he has zero memory of how he pulled it off. Sunghan smiles, with a terrifyingly gentle warmth, offering to check on him. Eugene screams internally, terrified by the blank spot in his memory, and wondering just what kind of embarrassing act sealed the contract last night. Eugene wakes up in a daze to find the S-Class tank Sunghan Kim tending to him, his mind blank and filled with confusion about last night. While Sunghan casually massages his feet, Eugene screams in terror at the excessive care, prompting Sunghan to bring up the embarrassing truth. The flashback reveals a mortifying truth. A drunken Sunghan grabbed his hand and dropped a serious "I love you" confession. While Sunghan bows an apology for his drunken antics, Eugene smiles warmly, admitting that hearing those words actually made him happy. Turns out, the drunken tank turned into a clingy giant, snuggling up and repeating "I love you" over and over again. Walking him home, Eugene jokingly calls him his grandson, and in that warmth, the lonely hunter finally feels a sense of safety and family. Back in reality, when Eugene explains he reminded him of his grandfather, Sunghan is absolutely crushed. I really look that old? Despite the shock, Sunghan admits internally that the overwhelming sense of safety did feel like being back under a guardian's care. Eugene realizes the terrifying truth. His skill brainwashes them into seeing him as a parent figure, explaining their sudden, intense attachment. Before he can dwell on it, Yerim kicks the door open and storms in, instantly shattering the heavy atmosphere with her energy. Realizing the skill is essentially brainwashing, a chilled Eugene quickly reactivates his poison resistance just to be safe. Days later, Myungwoo prepares a massive feast, and the group gathers around the table, looking like a genuinely happy family. Just as Yerim loudly declares she'll support him, the doorbell rings, sending the panic-stricken group scrambling for cover. It's the terrifying director Suk, who pushes up his glasses and smilingly announces that their hell training starts right now. The so-called basic training turns out to be a death match against a horde of monsters, leaving the rookies frozen in terror. As the monster wave crashes in, the instructor calmly explains this insanity is just to help them get used to the fear. While everyone else panics, Yerim's eyes sharpen, and she launches herself forward like a streak of lightning to wipe them out. The Ice Witch goes on a rampage, slaughtering monsters effortlessly before holding up a carcass to ask if it's good for barbecue. The control room watches in awe as Yerim absurdly stacks monster corpses into a glowing Christmas tree, showing off her insane power. But the danger isn't over. A hidden monster erupts from the ground and lunges straight at a terrified Myungwoo. Chaos erupts in the simulation. The giant mole closes in, and Myungwoo screams in sheer terror as he runs for his life. Eugene stays calm, exploiting the monster's poor eyesight. He orders Myungwoo to counterattack, unaware he's being closely watched. Despite being F rank, Eugene's composure is too professional. The observer frowns, suspicious of his unrookie-like behavior. To kill the suspicion, Eugene instantly puts on an act, faking a terrified scream as he lets himself get swallowed as bait. Battle over. Yerim is fresh and energetic, while Myungwoo is half dead. Director Suk finally steps out from the shadows. Director Suk trash-talks the two men while praising Yerim, then smoothly introduces a stunning new professor to shift the mood. The students go wild. Professor Hyun Sok is a famous dungeon research genius, and she's actually teaching here. Eugene tries to be friendly, only to be hit with a bombshell. She's the niece of the annoying Director Suk. Her kindness makes Eugene think romance is blooming. Reality checks and immediately nope. Cut to a harsh battlefield. Out in the wild, Yuhyun's elite team takes down a massive fire beast, only to realize it was just a baby. As the smoke clears, a tiny orange fox is found curled up in the embers, looking fragile and alone.